Hola amigos, ¿qué tal? Stu here from Spain Speaks with an update video today. Bit of a feedback video, go through some of the comments on the last video, have a bit of a chat about what's been happening there in the comments section, and also give a bit of an update on what's happening in the country at the moment. As you can see, it's a beautiful day. It's a bit chilly. The birds are singing. You can probably hear them behind me chirping away. They're obviously very happy today considering the weather conditions, and they're out and about showing their gratitude for the good weather. Now, it's still a bit chilly where I'm sitting here. This house doesn't have very good orientation. The sun is behind me at the moment, and this part of the garden here doesn't get much sun. The back of the house gets a little bit of sun in the winter months, but the front of the house virtually gets no sun at all. It's fantastic in summer because we don't need air conditioning, but in winter it can be a little bit chilly indoors, and we need to have the heating on a little bit more than I would like to have it on, to be honest, because those energy costs can be expensive in Spain. Now, there was lots of debate in yesterday's video. Obviously, when you mention the word vaccine, you're going to get a lot of feedback. There'll be a lot of positive comments, but there'll also be a lot of comments from people that don't believe in vaccine and people that don't believe in this particular vaccine which was announced the other day. And of course, the topic of this vaccine is an interesting one. Will it be ready next year? Won't it be ready next year? Will you take it? Won't you take it? Those are some of the issues that are on the table at the moment. Is it possible to develop a vaccine in such a short amount of time? Some people say it is, some people say it isn't, but as always, the debate is somewhere in the middle. We saw the euphoria in the stock market the other day. I think it went up 8.5%, also increased yesterday by 3%. I don't think it's increased a lot today. I think it's fairly steady today, but it hasn't gone backwards, which is positive for stock market investors. The health minister, as we know, came out yesterday and said that they expect to have 10 million people vaccinated by May next year, and they're going to work on who exactly those people are going to be, the risk groups, the people that are going to get first access to this vaccine, if it becomes available, of course, talking about health workers, and of course the vulnerable members of society are logically going to be the ones that are vaccinated first here in Spain. People are going to need 2 doses of the vaccine, and apparently the vaccine needs to be stored in very, very cold conditions, and there's also a strong debate about that, whether it's possible to keep the vaccine in such cold conditions. The minister also came out yesterday and said that the vaccine is not going to be compulsory, but I imagine they're going to encourage people through campaigns to get vaccinated and try to put this whole coronavirus issue behind us. They've also said that it's going to be free here in Spain and available in the social security system or the national health system here in Spain. So we'll see what happens in coming weeks and months regarding the vaccine. Now, I saw another comment on yesterday's video about this new educational law that the government is trying to pass here in Spain. A little bit controversial at the moment. There's a lot of debate about this particular law. There's a language debate going on. There's also a religious debate going on as well. Lots of people not happy about this new educational law that the Spanish government is trying to get through Parliament. And to be honest, the debate is not new. It's been around for a fair while now. Ever since the education minister announced the potential changes, people have been up in arms. There was quite a strong debate in the Murcia region at the beginning of the year because one of the political parties there wanted to implement a parental PIN where parents would have the opportunity to veto some of the subjects that were being taught at school. And of course, that kicked off a huge debate as to who is responsible for a child's education, the parents or the state. Some sectors of Spanish society are arguing that the state shouldn't have such an influencing role in their children's education, but the government feels that they are the ones who are best equipped to determine how children are educated and what they learn at school. And there were quite a few people around the country that got upset with the education minister when she came out and said earlier in the year that just because somebody's parents are homophobic, it doesn't mean that that child needs to grow up with the same values as his or her parents. And as I said, quite a few people not happy with those comments from the education minister. There's also a debate about single-sex schools. The government wants to remove public funding from single-sex schools. So if you want to send your child to a single-sex school, you're going to have to send them to a private school here in Spain. And now the main debate has turned to languages. The government made an amendment at the beginning of the month where they have removed Castilian Spanish or Castellano as the main language in education. And of course, various political parties are not happy about this. Basically, what they're trying to do is give all of the official languages here in Spain equal importance when it comes to education. And of course, some people are saying that this is going to be the end of Castilian Spanish in places like Catalonia, where they're going to impose the Catalan language in education and perhaps make Spanish only a minority subject there, maybe similar to the way foreign languages have been taught. So for example, all of the classes could be in Catalan, and then 1 day a week or 1 hour a week, students might have Spanish as a foreign language, let's say. That's what people are worried about. Now, in the majority of the country, this is not an issue. So for example, here in Madrid or Andalusia, the Canary Islands, Castilla y León, Castilla-La Mancha, this is not an issue, but people are worried that it could become an issue in places like Valencia, Catalonia, as I mentioned before, Galicia, the Basque Country, and the Balearic Islands, where they do have another official language. So again, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with regard to this law. Various political parties have said that they're going to take the matter to the Constitutional Court, so we'll see how this one pans out in coming weeks. But again, more changes to the educational system here in Spain in the pipeline. I don't know how many changes I've seen over the years, but it seems that every minister that comes into power wants to change the system. There were some controversial changes made back in 2013, and again, some more controversial changes on the agenda. And it seems that education is something that nobody can agree on in this country. Nobody seems to be able to come up with the perfect formula or the perfect way to educate kids in this country, and it's a shame. Now, there's been a few comments in recent times about traveling around Spain at the moment. A few people have been asking whether they're able to travel, whether they're able to get back to the UK. I think somebody said the other day that he was in Denia, made it till Bilbao, got on a ferry and went back to the UK, didn't see any police, any controls around the country. And a couple of other people have been asking whether you can travel freely around the country at the moment. And unfortunately, there's not really a simple answer to that question. It depends where you are in the country, and it depends whether you are a resident here in Spain or whether you're a tourist. We all know that there are different restrictions around the country at the moment, depending on where you're living. Maybe you're living in Andalusia and you are confined to your municipality. Here in Madrid, we don't have any restrictions, or at least where I am. There are some health areas that are confined at the moment, but I can drive my car around the country fairly freely at the moment, but I can't legally go into areas that are closed at the moment. There's curfews in place all around the country, and it's a bit confusing what you can do and can't do at the moment. But I saw a reply to a comment from somebody who said that he follows a couple of British YouTubers who are currently traveling around Spain at the moment. So I decided to check their channel out. They had an interesting video up yesterday. The name of the channel is John and Mandy on Tour, and this is a British couple that are currently in Spain traveling around the country in a motorhome. And in yesterday's video, I think it was, they talk about their experiences traveling around Spain at the moment. Now, as far as I can gather, there must be some type of legal loophole regarding this topic, because it seems a bit strange that citizens and residents of the country can't travel anywhere. And as I said before, if you're in Andalusia, you can't even leave your municipality, yet people are allowed to come from foreign countries down here in a motorhome and travel around the country freely. So it seems a bit strange. But according to John and Mandy, they don't seem to be getting any hassle from the police. The police don't seem to be stopping them from camping and moving around from place to place. So a bit strange, but if you're a tourist and moving around from place to place, there doesn't seem to be any problems. And I suppose that is the case, and as long as you don't break the curfew rules, as long as you don't break the mask wearing rules, you shouldn't have a problem to travel around the country at the moment, or at least it seems that way. This couple also said that they don't speak Spanish and they have had some problems communicating with the Guardia Civil or other police officers, and that the communication is being done through hand gestures. Now that leads me to a very important Spanish word. If you are traveling through the country and you are in a motorhome, for example, and you get stopped by the police, a very important word here in Spain is pernoctar. That word basically means to stay overnight. So if you get stopped by the police and they're asking you what you're doing, you can say podemos pernoctar aquí, or you could also say podemos pasar la noche aquí, may we spend the night here, and therefore you should be able to get a fairly clear answer of sí or no. On that note, I'll start to wrap the video up. Questions and comments, please leave them in the section below. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you didn't. I'll see you in the next one. Hasta luego.